McKinsey is pioneering the concept of a customer journey product manager. Why do we need customer journey product managers? Is there a problem that regular product managers are not yet solving? Welcome to Democratizing Data. My name is Jacob Chanina, and the mission of this channel is to drive impact using data, insights, AI, and the customer journey overall. Please subscribe to the channel. Now let's talk about what skills you need to be a customer journey product manager. And truth be told, while I don't see many people with the job title customer journey product manager, I do see the title chief experience officer. I think this is the closest current job title to what McKinsey calls the customer journey product manager, because the customer journey touches so many parts of the business that really it's only senior leaders that collaborate across so many divisions of the business that really are positioned to be those visionary leaders. This might change because for a time, the product was very much driven by components, and product managers emerged in order to help create some alignment at some level across departments with specific feature sets for specific customers. Customer journey product managers are not just creating alignment on specific features for specific customers for enabling that part of the business, but they really need to orchestrate the entire customer journey from A to Z. So what is the customer journey? I've broken this into two things. We've got the customer journey here on the left, and we have the brand journey on the right. The customer journey begins with awareness. And each of these steps here in the customer journey maps to the brand journey here on the right. Starting here with awareness, awareness is powered by lead generation. From the customer perspective, awareness means you didn't know about the brand before and now you do. You see an ad, you see a billboard, word of mouth, you attend an event, you see a presentation. This awareness is fueled by lead generation activities. And what's going on here is thought leadership, ad spend, MarTech, word of mouth marketing, events. It could be things like Dreamforce, Adobe Summit, etc. All lead generation creates awareness. Now, step 2 in the customer journey is familiarity. In the familiarity stage, they view your products. Like from using an e-commerce scenario, this is where they're browsing the product catalog. It could be them talking to sales. And what powers this stage of the customer journey is lead nurture. Lead nurture is a concept that comes from subscription-based businesses. Lead nurture, and jumping ahead here to value nurture, lead gen, lead nurture, and value nurture. These, as I said, this comes from subscription-based businesses, but many non-subscription-based businesses are using the same frameworks and methodologies to drive sales because, after all, business, even if it's a one transaction or many transactions, there is a relationship there, and these lead nurture helps build that relationship. So there's digital ways of doing lead nurture and personal ways of doing lead nurture. Digital ways means that you have an email campaign, a drip campaign that says, hey, look, here is some content, here is some customer stories, this is what you can do with the product, hey, we've got a sale. You are nurturing their interest in the product. And personal, like let's say an enterprise product, you've got a 9-month sales cycle. You can nurture that. That's not going to happen right away, especially if you're dealing with Fortune 500 brands. It takes a long time to close those deals. So you need to be very disciplined, and you need to nurture that enterprise sales engagement over quite a long time. Now comes trust. Trust means that they're not only familiar with the products and services that you offer, but it's a psychological state of mind where they begin to believe in your brand. They believe that you actually can and will deliver what you say are promising to the customer. This, when does this exactly happen? No one really knows. But it could take place during an add to cart event. Maybe that's the moment they're getting more serious. Like, I want to buy this. I'm going to add it to cart and I'll come get it an hour later. It could take place during a proof of concept in a B2B sales cycle where the sales engineer is showing them how the product works. Maybe for a consumer SaaS product, it happens while they're playing around with the freemium product and they really see the value that it brings. They gain trust, and this is what happens before the conversion event, stage 4. But looking here at the brand journey that powers trust, lead nurture and lead gen are also building trust incrementally over time. But if you want to really optimize your resources for this trust creation, there is lead scoring. Lead scoring, there are manual and automatic ways of doing lead scoring. And really what this does is just helps you prioritize your resources. You might have coupons. Let's say you've got a bunch of 1,000 free tickets to some conference and you want to give them to people that are going to give you the biggest bang for the buck. The way I would approach this from a segmentation strategy is I wouldn't, I know that many marketers do it the same way. I've worked with big Fortune 500 brands on their marketing strategies. And the way that they do it is, funny enough, they don't just give it to their most loyal customers because the most loyal customers are going to keep buying anyways. So you just leave those ones as is and they just keep paying. But you want to focus on the ones that are fading out. And this is where you need some good analytics. Because if you see like, hey, this person used to be highly active, but now they're fading out, I can recapture them before they fade out and churn completely. That is where you get the biggest bang for the buck. That's where you want to give out free tickets, promo codes, and help drive them towards new conversions or repeat conversions. The manual way of doing lead scoring is, traditional sales process where the sales has moved along and they got an introduction to the CMO, who's the decision maker. The CMO agrees to a meeting. The deal is 40% closed. You go and enter that information into Salesforce or whatever CRM, and then you've got some analytics on the pipeline moving along it. And you focus on the deals that are furthest along in the pipeline. This is a manual way of scoring the level of trust that your prospective buyers have. Lead scoring maps to trust. Now let's look at conversion. Conversion, there's micro conversion and macro conversion. Micro conversion could be something simple like creating a username, providing your email, and creating a password to create an account. You are sharing your personal information. That is a transaction, a small transaction, but a transaction nevertheless. Or it can be a macro conversion. A macro conversion, you're giving over your credit card. You're paying money. And this, from the customer's perspective, is the most painful part of the customer journey. Because if you could skip this step, we would all be a lot richer, to say the least. So how does this map to the business operations? You try to make this as seamless as possible. So thinking about teams, you've got developers, you've got product managers. If it's you've got a contract, you really want to time it really, really well at the time that they're feeling most optimistic with the right decision makers, give them a big discount. So on the Creative Cloud at Adobe, we had a team of 5 product managers that were optimizing just a handful of screens during the subscription sign-up flow. And we wanted to make that so seamless, so natural, so enticing that it almost felt pleasurable to spend the money that you needed to spend in order to subscribe to the Creative Cloud. So that should be your goal. Make this as seamless and natural as possible. Now, step 5 in the customer journey is activation. This, from the customer journey, from the customer's perspective, is the most important part of their journey. So they have spent the money now and they want to get value from it. They want to achieve customer success. So how does this map to the brand? The brand journey, it's your customer success department. And even if you don't have a customer success department, there are personal and people, there are digital and personal ways of making customer success happen. A digital way of making customer success happen is just by making the product very, very seamless to the point of activation. Slack is a company, a great example that has done this very well. The CEO of Slack has said on a podcast before that his goal was to just really make sure that they nailed customer success. You get a magic link. If you forget your password, oh, you forgot? Oh, here's a magic link. Boom. We don't want to have you be stopped creating new passwords, getting confused, getting lost at all. They have really nailed, and they've got that Slack bot too to educate you. He's like your little mini customer success advocate. Not too in your face, just friendly enough to be helpful, but not like Clippy. Customer success, digital customer success. So if you want to be a customer journey product manager with whatever business you are in, you've got to have some experience and understanding of how you drive customer success. You can even drive customer success through email. Like if they are, you share them content, how-to tips. In the app, you can say, hey, here's a tip. Salesforce.com has a really awesome, I don't even know what it's called, but a virtual assistant that pops up in Salesforce when you log in. And it has like embedded training videos, and you can quickly filter through them. Like, oh, are you using this for your small business? Are you using this to store contacts? Or are you using this to manage? Like, it really quickly figures out what your jobs to be done are with Salesforce. And it is a mini customer success manager in the product. Really, really nailed it. Google Analytics is another example. They've got this analytics intelligence, really, really awesome mini customer success manager built into the product. Super awesome. So now moving on to step 6, this is retention or churn. Obviously, we want to drive retention, and what powers this retention is value nurture. Value nurture, there's a bunch of different strategies for doing value nurture. This means that you ensure that they continue to get value. You can share customer success stories. You can have a loyalty program. Retailers love these. Marvel, for example, they give you free movie tickets. You can get free posters by gaining loyalty points. And that just makes them be part of the community. Building a community, having a Slack group, a Facebook page, that helps them connect with this ecosystem and helps nurture that value. If they start to churn, you can start using reactivation strategies. There's lots of, very creative ways. Like at enterprise, if you got a customer that's struggling, you can throw customer success at it. You can throw free consulting at that. It's often they're struggling to get the product implemented. That might be why you need to reactivate them using those approaches. Or in email reactivations, and you just Google reactivation email strategies. You'll see some hilarious ones. We miss you with these emojis. Perhaps you've gotten those emails yourself. And there's also gamification. Gamification is a great way of doing value nurture. Ed tech companies love gamification, and even it's built into enterprise products. You get badges, you get points, and you just try to celebrate with them and help them increase their perceived value. There's real value and perceived value. Real value is you're actually doing what they need to have done, and perceived value is just reminding them. And you can even do this through email marketing orchestration as well. Like, hey, by the way, here's a customer success story, or like, hey, here's your usage of the product over the last month. And you're just like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that this product helped me book this many meetings. Or I didn't realize that, here's an attribution report. Like, oh, wow, I got this many sales from, deploying Drift on my website. And now the Drift chatbot is that you haven't created by sharing that information with them. You haven't created actual value, but you're increasing perceived value. That's all part of value nurture. So tying this back into customer journey product managers, this is really a lot of experiences. So that's why I think there's not a whole lot of customer journey product managers yet, or chief experience officers or chief experience officers yet, because it really is such a mixed bag of skills. But maybe one day we'll get there. Maybe we can streamline these processes. Maybe we'll get a better way, a better training program, maybe some sort of degree or program. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, honestly, because I'm super jazzed about customer journey product management. I think this is really the way to create a unified customer experience. We all want to drive, all the companies are saying, hey, we want a unified customer experience. It's super annoying when you get transferred from one department to the next one when you're on the call center and they're like, oh, sorry, that's a different department. I have no idea about that. Or when you get irrelevant promotional materials. It's like, hey, I just returned that product, or can't, like, I bought that product. I bought golf clubs already, and now you're showing me golf clubs again. Like, do you not know me? Customers want to be known. We want a relationship that feels relevant. We don't want our time wasted. And the only way to do that is to really drive personalization. And personalization is not just a matter of machine learning and data. Data is a big part of it, but a lot of it is leadership. A lot of it is coordinating and unifying an organization to speak and interact with the customer in a unified fashion.